there, Chaz Marler from Paradise here, joined once again by my occasional co-hostess, V-Bug.
Me.
Nice to meet you again.
Yeah.
Yes, and we are here today because we are going to open up a box of games that we are adding to our board game collection this month.
This one.
And we're going to talk about the games that are in the box and why we chose each one. In this particular case, the viewing audience actually helped pick them as well. That's right, because a few weeks ago, I released a video in which I asked viewers to vote on either Hotshots or Unearth to be the final game to fill out this box. And after going through the comments and tweets and responses received from that question, the answer lies in this box, and we will discover which game the viewers helped us pick for our final game in the box.
Oh yeah, there's also a sponsor. It's called Fun Again.
That's right, little person who is probably V-Bug. This month's box is sponsored in part by our friends at Fun Again Games, who helped make this game box possible.
Big knowledge to Fun Again.
All right.
Okay, let me open it with force.
And now we're going to open up the box.
Force. I'm using the force from Star Wars.
You mean from Galaxy Conflicts?
Yes.
And we'd use the generic version of it because we haven't paid for it. All right, so what's first in the box?
Here.
All right, what is the first game that we have in here? Aha! All right. The first game in our box this time is called Gateway Uprising, and this is an interesting kind of deck builder area control type of game that one of our friends of the show, Jamie Keggy at The Secret Cabal, talked about on his podcast. And because of all the interesting things that Jamie said about it, it worked its way into my dome and into this time's box.
There's
so
hair in my mouth.
You don't say. Whatever could it be from?
I don't know.
Have you considered not doing that? So you're just going to dig a mouth hole, huh? You look like a Wookiee now. Can you go... The point is that this game sounded really interesting based on what Jamie had to say about it. So let's take a moment now to see what the game has to say about itself. So how does Gateway Uprising work? Well, in this game, each player begins with the same starter resources, the basic insurgent wizards, merchants, and a magical runestone, but from there, the players branch off in different directions, which is something that I really like in a game. Players will draft new wizards and heroes or magical creatures that they'll add into their ranks, and they'll build up an army to defeat and defend the different districts of the Gateway City. To win the game, players must collect, believe it or not, victory points, and they'll get those by defeating the city guard and other vile little enemies that are going to pop up, by controlling important districts, or through special insurgent abilities that they're going to draft into their ranks. And so, advises the box, don't delay and play the waiting game, because if the vile villains manage to take all the city districts, it's game over for both the insurgents and those innocent little citizens of Gateway City who are depending on you and your opponents to save them from the enemy in this game whose name I cannot pronounce. So that is Gateway Uprising, a very interesting sounding little game, highly recommended by the Secret Cabal. And now in our game collection, in order to put Jamie's words to the test. Is Jamie Keggy lying to me about this game? We'll find out in an episode to come.
We found it.
All right. The next game in the box isn't actually a game per se, but an expansion for a game, the Star Wars Rebellion Rise of the Empire expansion. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! This is a great little expansion to Star Wars Rebellion, a game I really enjoy playing, but doesn't get to hit the table as often as I would like to because it's kind of long and grandiose and only 2 players and there's 3 of us in the house. But here's a little bit of info on what the Star Wars Rebellion expansion adds to the base game. Star Wars Rebellion Rise of the Empire is an expansion for Star Wars Rebellion, which was inspired largely by what goes on in the movie Rogue One. For example, the expansion allows you to recover the Death Star's plans and confuse those blasted Imperials by issuing false orders, and you can issue commands to characters like Director Krennic and the Death Troopers, and you can set traps for all of those rebel scum pilots and soldiers, luring them away from their safe little hidey hole bases into massive galactic battles which someone is going to win, either you or not you. Altogether, the Rise of the Empire expansion introduces 8 new leaders, 36 plastic miniatures, 5 target markers, new dice, and more than 100 new cards. It takes the game Star Wars Rebellion and just adds a new layer of a little more stuff to do and see. So that's the Rise of the Empire expansion for Star Wars Rebellion. A game, I like the base game, and I cannot wait to dig into what the expansion adds into it. And also the second item in our box this month. And what is this that you're waving in front of my face?
It's a check mark.
A check mark. So, okay, Star Wars Rebellion expansion, check. Oh, you need to put your check. Now it's a frown.
Yes, because I don't like Star Wars Rebellion.
Okay, checkmark/frown, got it. Next, let's go to the third and final item in this month's box.
Whoa.
All right, the third and final item in this month's box is the winner of the little poll that we had with the viewing audience.
It's this.
Between Unearthed and Hotshots, and Hotshots won! So I think one of the main reasons why Hotshots was able to bubble its way up the list above Hotshots to win our little poll is because it's a family cooperative game, and I think that went a long way towards having a lot more people recommend it. How does Hotshots work, you ask? Well, let's take a little bit of a closer look and find out. Alright, so Hotshots, or Hotshots as VBug confessed that she thought it was called at first, is a cooperative press your luck game for crews of 1 to 4 players who take on the roles of wildfire fighters. And each of these players has a special ability which they will use to help fight back the flames. Speaking of flames, flame tokens are going to be added to and spread across the board on each player's turn by card play. And that, in addition to light or strong winds, are going to cause this fire to potentially spread out of control unless you guys can contain it. Some tiles are tied to crew members' special abilities, and others will help the specific firefighters, and still others are going to cause the fire to spread in unique and different ways. And if too many tiles end up scorched or the fire camp burns down, the game's going to be over and the entire forest is lost. But if your intrepid crew of firefighters can extinguish the fire before it spreads too far, your team will share the victory. And as you play through the game, the press your luck mechanism in there with its ratcheting rewards creates tension, and the variety of different ways to fight the fire makes for interesting choices. At least, that's what its marketing blurb tells me. We'll find out if Hotshots, or Hotshots, lives up to this with its modular tile layout and cards, and its cute little awesome plastic flame tokens, which are, admittedly, one of the things that lured me to this game in the first place. So that's more information about Hotshots, the game that was the winner of our little impromptu little poll that we had that worked its way into our box of games this month, along with the Star Wars Rebellion expansion and Gateway Uprising, strongly recommended by Jamie Keggy of the Secretive Cabal. Where'd you come from?
It was a Wookiee.
So what I want to know is if anybody out there viewing has played all 3 of these or any one of them, and what your impressions of these games have been as well. Have you found any of these games worthy of adding to your own board game collection, and why? Let me know in the comments below. And also, be sure to join us not only in our YouTube comments, but also over on the Pair of Dice Paradise Facebook page, over at facebook.com/pairofdiceparadise, and on Twitter where we are at Dice Paradise. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I've been Chaz Marler, joined by my occasional co-host. And until next time, I've been Chaz Marler, joined by my occasional co-hostess, VBug the Wookiee. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
And move it.
My hair goes up.
My hair goes down.
My hair goes up.
My hair goes down.
My hair goes up.
My hair
up,
down,
up,
down,
up.
down.
Bravissimo.